Back at it again. Today, I felt really strongly that I needed to elaborate on failure. I know, I think it was 2 episodes ago, 2 journals ago, failure was the subject. But this is more how to deal with failure. I don't want to say I'm an expert on it, 'cause I'm definitely not, and I'm definitely too young to, be an expert on failure. But I've had a lot of time to reflect on failures. Um, I wasn't the best kid, that's for sure. I wasn't great in school. I wasn't the nicest, not that I was mean, but I wasn't the nicest. I wasn't who I could have been. I definitely wasn't a great son, I guess you could say. Um, Grandson, etc. And I've had a lot of times where, due to my own mistakes, I fall. And so I've had a lot of time to reflect on that, and it's really one of the things that I think has grown in me the most, is dealing with failure. And I do have my downfalls, but I luckily can come back from them pretty quickly now. But failure is something that can make you or break you. And if you don't deal with it right, it can definitely break you, and it can discourage you from moving any farther in the world. It's all about your mindset about it. Especially on experience with failure. And I know that sounds stupid, because who wants to experience failure? But after going through so many failures in my life, you start to pick things up a little bit. And you start to learn how to cope with it. And I think one of the biggest things is that you realize that, well, I've failed before, and I got right back up. And maybe it took me a bit, but here I am again, and I'm still alive. And it starts to, I don't want to say downplay, but downplay failures. It starts to not be such a big deal in your head when you fail. And that can be a good thing and a bad thing. You know, today, I guess last night, I committed to myself that I was gonna get back to fasting. I used to do crazy long fasts, go days without eating. Sometimes I do dry fasts. I wasn't keen on them as much, but sometimes I would. And I told myself I'm gonna go back to it. I'm gonna do it. And all day I found myself making excuses. And I went to jujitsu today, and afterwards I was in a great mood. And I wasn't able to catch myself with the excuse. Usually when I commit to something and I start making excuses, I can be like, no, no, no. Like I can catch it, because I can feel like the build up in my heart. And and I feel the shame almost of making the excuse. And so I was able to catch myself all day. And I go to jujitsu and I'm in a great mood and everything's flowing. I'm just like, you know what? I just worked my ass off at jujitsu. My body needs nutrients, blah, 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 blah. So I came home, opened the fridge, and I took out 5 eggs, and I ate those. My insulin's spiked. There's some leftover lasagna. I ate a slice, well, nice little corner of that. Went to the pantry, I saw me some sweet chili Doritos. Let me tell you, that's my weak spot. I hate Doritos, but them chili Doritos. I told myself, you're already supposed to be fasting, and now you're not. You're not gonna eat those Doritos. Let's go eat something healthier. So I found a bag of trail mix with Brazil nuts and macadamia, and I started eating some of that. And then eventually you almost lose trust for yourself. And I was just like, you know what, I've already ate all this food, a few chips wouldn't hurt. So the next thing you know, I grabbed 5 or 6 of the Doritos out of the closet. And I come up here, and I just feel so, one, groggy, because not eating all day, and then packing down all that food. My burp just came out. Packing down all that food is, a lot. But then you feel a little disappointed. You have that feeling of, I don't trust myself. And that's dangerous. That is dangerous. A dangerous feeling. And so I turned on my camera. I decided that this journal was going to be something for me to remember my lessons with, and here is one of them. Sometimes you have to catch yourself before the failure. And you know, obviously prevention is better than fixing afterwards. Sometimes you don't catch yourself. Sometimes your heart deceives you. And then the mistrust comes in. And you start to feel disappointed in yourself. And you start to feel like you have no control over your actions. And that is detrimental to success. Because that builds up. That's how procrastination becomes a thing. You know, it becomes an action. That becomes a repeated action. That becomes a habit. And if I'm going to be honest, that's sort of what screwed me in life in the first place. Is I never trusted myself. I told myself I was going to quit smoking so many times. And every single time I'd make excuses and I'd go back to it. That eventually, when I told myself I was going to quit, I knew I wasn't. You don't want it to get to that point, because then you have to fight tooth and nail to fight your flesh and fight your heart. And it's so hard. Then you add disappointment onto that, and you add guilt, and you add shame, and it's a spiral. And you start to get frustrated with yourself, frustrated with how things are going. And eventually, time goes by. You feel like you can't even do anything yourself, because you feel like you have no control over yourself. Sometimes you have to deny your emotions. When you tell yourself you're gonna do something, do it. But when you fail, don't feel that disappointment. Because you trying in the first place is a small win. And if you discount that, it's all gonna be a big loss. So give yourself that small win. Give yourself the win of knowing that you are in the part of your journey where you're at least trying. You're turning the ignition in the car, and you just haven't hit the gas pedal yet. I used to wake up at 5:30 every day. I've gotten complacent. I started waking up at 6 and 6:30, or basically as late as I could, without it being a problem. And I told myself, I'm gonna start waking up at 5:30, starting tomorrow. Next day that alarm goes off, I can feel it in my bones. I'm not getting up right now. So instead of 5, I make it 5:30. I open my eyes at 5:30 after my second alarm goes off. And I lay back. Just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes, right? Well, now it's 6 o'clock. 5 minutes sure was something. When you give yourself these leeways, you keep taking them. When I was trying to get sober, I'd go dead sober, cold turkey, and I'd go a while, and somebody would say, every once in a while is fine. And I get to thinking, you know what? Every once in a while is fine. Let me tell you something. Out of the 3 times I've gotten sober for long periods of time, every single time I went back was, every once in a while is fine. Every time. Not once was it not. You start giving yourself leeways. You give yourself an inch, the devil takes a mile. Can't do that. You have to die to your soul. You have to deny your flesh. You have to deny yourself, even. What people don't realize is they want those things. I do want to go eat that food. I do want to go smoke. I do want to go drink. The Bible talks about denying yourself. And I think a big part of that is denying your worldly desires, is what it means. Denying your flesh of what it wants. Because doing what you want, living in comfort all the time, makes you weak and complacent. So, give yourself that win still. That doesn't mean be delusional and be like, oh, I made it 5 minutes fasting before I went and got that Taco Bell. I'm doing good. No. Be realistic. If it gets to the point where you're fighting tooth and nail just to fight those excuses and then you fail, give yourself a pat on the back. Because fight between somebody else, there's nothing compared to between a fight of you and the man in the mirror. Getting off of denying your urges Um, and being kind to yourself off of failure. Take the failure and learn something from it at least. I learned today that despite failing at my fat, I'm still here showing up to do my video. And that means I've made progress, because a few months ago, if I would have failed a big task I set for myself, everything else in the day would have been thrown away with it. So I told myself, good job. Learn a lesson. Try to find a lesson in everything, in your failures. Especially, wins come along with their own lessons. Sorry, I don't know if that cut out on your side on my screen. Went weird there for a second. But wins come with their own lessons. Failures. Failures. Winning is what teaches you what you're doing right. Failure is what teaches you what you're doing wrong. And oftentimes we're doing a lot more wrong than we are doing right. Be kind. Don't kick yourself in the ass because you didn't fail, because you didn't succeed. Don't lose sight of your goal because what you planned didn't work out. Love yourself, live with yourself, and the next time you fail, tell yourself, you know what? Next time I'm gonna do even 5%. God bless you guys. Have a great day.